Welcome, and thank you for joining me on this peaceful journey through time. Tonight, we will explore a fascinating and mysterious chapter of history. As you settle in, allow yourself to relax and unwind, letting the soft rhythms of the past sweep over you. Imagine yourself stepping gently into a world long gone, where life, though challenging, was filled with its own unique rhythms and stories. The sun shone bright on the wide streets, and the stars of cinema actors, directors, and writers were living lives of luxury. On the one hand, there were the grand movie studios where stars were born, their images broadcasted around the world. The post-war years were not only about rebuilding the economy, but also about grappling with the aftermath of global conflict and social upheaval. This was a time of rapid change, and for some, it was a time of uncertainty. But on the other hand, the city was filled with ordinary men and women struggling to make a living. The war had just ended, and many families were rebuilding their lives, finding their place in a world that was changing quickly. The city was both a dream and a nightmare, a place of new beginnings and unresolved tensions. You could almost feel the magic in the air, the allure of fame and fortune that promised a life of excitement and allure. But underneath all this sparkle, there were shadows that stretched far beyond the film sets. In this video, we will delve into the unsolved mystery of the Black Dahlia case. This story, though filled with uncertainty, has captured the imaginations of many for decades. But do not worry, this is not a tale that will stir your heart into anxiety or fear. Instead, we will gently explore the facts and the lingering questions with a calm and soothing approach, helping you drift deeper into relaxation. Let the weight of the day slowly lift off your shoulders. Take a deep breath, settle into your space, and let the slow, steady rhythm of the past carry you into the night. Daily life in 1940s Los Angeles, imagine yourself. For a moment, walking through the bustling streets of Los Angeles in the 1940s, the city is alive with energy, yet there is an undercurrent of mystery that lingers just beneath the surface. You can hear the distant hum of cars, the sharp click of heels on pavement, and the occasional murmur of voices from nearby. The air smells faintly of gasoline mixed with the warm scent of city dust. Life during this time was both glamorous and gritty. The golden age of Hollywood was in full swing. The people of Los Angeles lived in a city that was a complex blend of high society and humble daily existence. Amidst this vast landscape, there was a silent tension, an unsettling feeling that something darker lurked in the background. In the midst of this, a mystery was unfolding, one that would go on to become one of the most infamous unsolved cases in American history: the murder of Elizabeth Short, better known as the Black Dahlia. As you imagine yourself walking these streets, feel the mixture of hope and worry that filled the air. Let's now turn our attention to the woman at the center of this mystery, Elizabeth Short, or as she would later come to be known, the Black Dahlia. Imagine her, a young woman in her 20s, her long, dark hair falling in waves around her shoulders. As a child, her life seemed ordinary, filled with school, friends, and family. She dreamed of becoming an actress, though she did not immediately find success in the world of Hollywood. Instead, she worked various jobs, trying to make ends meet, while keeping her dream alive. Yet, her path took a turn when her father disappeared, leaving her and her family in financial turmoil. Elizabeth's mother raised her and her sisters on her own, but this hardship would follow Elizabeth for much of her life. Her beauty, her ambition, and her dreams of a better life in Hollywood were all part of a larger narrative that, like so many before her, ended too soon. Imagine yourself standing in the quiet, empty lot where her body was discovered. The sun is low, casting long shadows on the ground. The silence feels almost oppressive, as if the earth itself is holding its breath, waiting for the truth to be revealed. Her life was not as glamorous as she had hoped, but she continued to hold on to the dream that one day she would break through. The way her body was arranged, posed almost deliberately, shocked even the most hardened of investigators. The case was further complicated by the media's obsession with Elizabeth's death. Yet, as years went by, the Black Dahlia case remained alive in the minds of many. The city, once filled with the vibrancy of her dreams, is now overshadowed by the lingering question: who killed Elizabeth Short? Journalists flooded the city, desperate to uncover new details, often creating their own theories and feeding them to the public. The Black Dahlia became more than just a murder, it became a spectacle. The case was unlike any other, too grotesque, too unsettling to ignore. The Black Dahlia murder, as it came to be known, sparked widespread fear and fascination. There were few clues, and the ones that did exist only led to more confusion. Witnesses reported seeing Elizabeth around town, but no one could pinpoint her last moments with certainty. In the weeks following the discovery of her body, detectives followed every lead, only to find that each one seemed to lead to a dead end. The police launched an extensive investigation, and countless suspects were named, but no one could provide definitive answers. It was as though whoever had committed the crime wanted to make a statement to send a message. But what was that message? And why? On January 15th of that year, her body was discovered in a vacant lot in Los Angeles, cut in half at the waist. Her death was brutal, and the way in which her body was displayed shocked the world. Some believed that Elizabeth had been the victim of a deranged man, while others suggested that her death was the result of a twisted personal vendetta. The media, as they often do, painted Elizabeth as a femme fatale, someone whose life was filled with mystery even before her death. They speculated about her lovers, her connections to powerful men, and her supposed links to Hollywood. The media quickly latched onto the case, sensationalizing every detail of her life and death. Little did she know, her story would soon take a dark and tragic turn. She was known for her striking beauty, a beauty that seemed to shine even brighter in a city built on glamour. Elizabeth Short was born in 1924 in Boston, Massachusetts. She lived in a modest apartment and frequented the local bars, often socializing with others who shared her dreams of stardom. In her late teens, Elizabeth moved to California, drawn by the promise of a new life and perhaps the hope of finding fame. As you imagine Elizabeth walking through the streets of Los Angeles, you can picture the excitement she must have felt. The city, with its sunny weather and open skies, must have seemed like the perfect place to start fresh. Despite her beauty, Elizabeth was not yet a household name, though she did catch the attention of a few Hollywood figures. In the early months of 1947, Elizabeth Short's life came to a violent end. As you reflect on Elizabeth's life, it's clear that hers was a story filled with both hope and despair. The mystery of the Black Dahlia. Now, let us delve deeper into the mystery that has remained unsolved for decades. The brutal murder of Elizabeth Short. On that cold January morning in 1947, Elizabeth's body was found severed in two, discarded like an unwanted piece of garbage. The discovery of her body immediately captured the attention of the police, the media, and the public. As the weeks went by, rumors and theories began to swirl. But no matter how many theories were proposed, no one could explain the shocking nature of her murder. Despite all the attention, the police were unable to make any significant progress. Time passed, and the case grew colder. The elite and contrasting daily life. As we approach the final part of our journey, imagine once more the world of Los Angeles in the late 1940s, a city of stark contrasts. On one hand, there were the everyday lives of ordinary people, struggling to make ends meet in a world filled with uncertainty. But on the other hand, there was the glittering world of the elite, the wealthy, and the powerful, those who lived in luxury, far removed from the suffering and hardship of the everyday citizen. There were times when she brushed elbows with Hollywood-esque stars, and times when she struggled to pay rent. It is said that she was often caught between the promise of fame and the harsh reality of life in Los Angeles, a woman caught in the web of their power. Others believe that the case remains unsolved because it involves individuals with the means to cover their tracks, to remain hidden in the shadows. She was a beautiful young woman, but beauty alone could not always open doors for her. She sought a life of fame and luxury, but in the end, her story became a tragic symbol of the darker side of that world, a world that is often hidden from view. The Black Dahlia case, still unsolved after all these years, remains a haunting reminder of the mysteries that lie beneath the surface of even the most glamorous of cities. Elizabeth Short's life, though filled with dreams and hopes, was ultimately cut short in a way that no one could have predicted. But that continues to shape the lives of those who seek to enter it. Los Angeles, though still a city of contrast and mystery, has changed. The glamour of Hollywood continues to shine brightly, but the shadows that once loomed over the streets have softened with the passage of time. A final reflection. The city's elite had their own rules. For many outsiders like Elizabeth, those rules were impossible to crack. May you sleep soundly, knowing that the mysteries of the past, while intriguing, are distant and gentle, now waiting patiently in the shadows, untouched by the present. This divide between the ordinary and the extraordinary is crucial in understanding the backdrop against which the Black Dahlia case unfolded. The wealthy lived in a world of their own, untouched by the violence and despair that gripped the cities less fortunate. Imagine yourself back in the present, safe and sound, where the mysteries of the past no longer haunt your every step. The rhythm of your breathing slows, your body relaxes, and your mind quiets, allowing the comfort of the present to guide you toward rest. The elite of Los Angeles, the stars, the film moguls, and the socialites lived in a world that was almost mythical. They spent their days at grand parties, in lavish mansions, and at glamorous movie premieres. To the public, they were larger-than-life figures, untouchable and perfect. But beyond the glamour, there were shadows. Behind closed doors, some of these very people were entangled in their own personal struggles. Battles with addiction, power, and corruption. The world of the rich and famous, though seemingly perfect from the outside, was far from it. 8. The divide between the elite and the everyday. A person was as wide as the distance between the Hollywood Hills and the streets below. As Elizabeth Short moved through this city, trying to make a name for herself, she found herself navigating these two worlds. Her tragic end, the unsolved mystery that continues to haunt Los Angeles, is a chilling reminder of the divide between those who lived in the light of Hollywood's spotlight and those who lingered in its own shadows. In the case of the Black Dahlia, some theories suggest that Elizabeth's death may have been tied to the very people who lived in this elite world, the world of powerful men who might have seen her as expendable as you think about this. Consider the contrast between the grandiose world of Hollywood and the grim reality that Elizabeth Short experienced. As we come to the end of this journey through time, take a moment to reflect. Yet, in the midst of this dark story, we find comfort in knowing that time has moved on. Now, as you prepare to drift into sleep, allow the weight of the past to lift gently off your shoulders. Thank you for joining me on this journey through history. Good night.